Hello and welcome back to another chapter of Anastasia. So, let's just take a minute. Let's call in our guardian angels, the nature spirits, the animal spirits, the elementals, any of our team of light that are here with us right now, the dragons. Let's call them in as we settle down to receive the messages from the book today. So we're starting with Touching Paradise, chapter 21. Your brain is tired of listening to me, and yet I still have so much I want to tell you. I do so want to, but you need to rest. Let us sit again for a little while. We sat down on the grass. Anastasia took me by the shoulders and drew me close to her. The back of my head touched her breast, which gave me a pleasant warm feeling. Yeah, I'll bet. Do not be afraid of me. Let yourself go, she quietly said, and lay down on the grass so that it would be more comfortable for me to rest. She ran the fingers of one of her hands through my hair as if combing it, while the fingertips of her other hand quickly touched my forehead and temples. Occasionally, she would lightly press down on her fingernails at various points on the top of my head. All this gave me a feeling of tranquility and enlightenment. Then, putting her hands on my shoulders, Anastasia said, "Listen now, and please tell me what sounds you hear around you." I listened, and my hearing caught a wide range of sounds, all different in tonality, rhythm, and continuity. I began naming the sounds aloud: the birds singing in the trees, the chirping and the clicking of insects in the grass, the rustling of the leaves, the fluttering and the flattering of birds' wings. I named everything I could hear, then fell silent and went on listening. This was pleasant and very interesting for me. You have not named everything, Anastasia observed. Everything, I replied. Well, maybe I've left out something not very significant or something I didn't catch. Not anything important, that is. Vladimir, do you not hear how my heart is beating? Asked Anastasia. Could I really have not been paying attention to this sound, the sound of her heart beating? Yes, I hastened to respond. Of course I hear it very well. It is beating evenly and calmly. Try to memorize the intervals of the various sounds you hear. You can choose the principal sounds and memorize them. I selected the chirping of some insect, the cawing of a crow, and the gurgling and splash of the water in a stream. Now I shall increase the tempo of my heartbeat, and you listen to see what happens all around. Anastasia's heartbeat increased in frequency, and right away the rhythm of sounds I could hear around me joined in with a heightened tonality. Wow, that's interesting, right? So it's just showing there that nature is, if we are one with nature, if we are in resonance with nature, we're actually starting to, all our heartbeats are beating as one. We're starting to resonate, calibrate. It's starting to sync with us. That's astounding, simply incredible, I explained. What are you saying, Anastasia? Are they so sensitive to the rhythm of your heartbeat? Yes, everything. Absolutely everything. A little blade of grass, a big tree, even the bugs. They all react to any change in the rhythm of my heart. The trees accelerate their inner process and work harder to produce oxygen. So they're picking up on the fact that our heart rate is quickening, and they're giving more oxygen to help her come back into calmness. How and obviously we spoke about this again a lot as we've moved through this book, about how we're in nature. We feel soothed, we feel nurtured, we feel held, we feel calm, that it is conscious of us. And this is a very easy way to see that, how it's picking up on the changes in her vibrations. It's sensing that a heartbeat is speeding up, and it's sending more nurturing, more nourishment, more oxygen into her field. Is this how all the plants and animals in people's environments react? I asked. No, in your world they do not understand to whom they should react. And that makes sense as well, because it's so, if we think about it, when we know ourselves, right, we're on a desert island, we're on our own, or we're just somewhere where it's peaceful and there's not many, we just feel so relaxed and peaceful, and it's so easy to relax. now put us in the middle of a shopping centre or something, then that's different. There's a lot of different people's energies in the collective that are all melding together. So you can understand how the nature would then find it hard to find that calibration. No, in your world, they do not understand to whom they should react, and you do not try to make contact with them. Yeah, and as most humans are also completely unaware that nature is conscious. Besides, although if you're watching this, you obviously are not. and that is not, and I don't mean that in judgment to humans neither. Hopefully you're realising that, what I genuinely know about humans is that we're inherently goodness, and it's actually all the programming and mind control that makes humans act in a way that is out of alignment with the organic template of the human angelic form, which is what we are, human angelic form. And so it's not a judgment, and everyone's going to be waking up more and more because we're in the Great Awakening, we're in the ascension window, and people's consciousness are going to be waking up, and people are going to be remembering their connection to nature, and are going to be starting to communicate more and more with the nature around us. Besides, you do not understand the purpose of such contact and do not give them sufficient information about yourselves. Something similar might happen between plants and the people who work on their little garden plots. If only people would do everything I outlined to you, imbued the seed with information about themselves, and begin to communicate more consciously with their plants. Do you want me to show you what man will feel when he makes such contact? Of course I want you to, but how will you do that? I shall tune the rhythm of my heartbeat to yours, and you will feel it. She slid her hand inside my shirt, her warm palm slightly pressed against my chest. Little by little, her heart adjusted its tuning and began beating in the same rhythm as mine. And something most amazing, I'm getting an absolute chill down this side of my head right now. I felt an unusual pleasant sensation, as though my mother and my relatives were right there beside me, right? And I just felt that. I felt my guides coming even stronger there. So you may have felt that at the same time as I read that passage then. So it's like that sense of a connection of the beings that are with us that we cannot see with our physical eyes, although we can see the trees, right? We can see that they're right in front of us, but people have been so programmed that they can't feel. It's actually, as we deprogram, what happens is we actually start to feel more. It's like we're thawing out. It's like the ice that has been, all these blocks of ice inside us start to melt, and we actually start to feel more. That's why a lot of people are afraid to heal, because they're afraid to feel. But it's actually in the feeling that we actually start to connect. That's when we start to open up all of our spiritual senses. That's when we start to move into our divinity. That's when we start to feel our guides are always around us and always try to get our attention, always leading us signs and clues and synchronicities, always trying to lead us if only we will pay attention to those signs and not write them off. I felt an unusual pleasant sensation, as though my mother and my relatives were right there beside me, a sense of softness and good health that came over my body, and my heart was filled with joy, freedom, and a whole new sense of creation. The range of surrounding sounds caressed me and communicated the truth, not a truth comprehensible in all its detail, just something I felt intuitively. I had the impression that all the pleasing and joyous feelings I'd ever experienced in my life were now merging into a single and wonderful sensation. Perhaps it is this sensation that is called happiness. But as soon as Anastasia began to change the rhythm of her heartbeat, the wonderful sensation started to leave me. I asked, more, please, let me feel it more, Anastasia. I cannot do that for long. After all, I have my own rhythm. Even just a little bit more, I pleaded. This is reminding me of, I had this memory of when I was younger, and this memory came to when I was walking in the woods, right? Because obviously when it's 14 on the clock. As I read this, that might be significant to you. It is significant, 14, which is also a 5 and a 5. So as I was as I was walking in the woods, so often when we're in the woods, when we're in that state of connection, messages, we can hear messages from our spirit guides, our teams, we can be brought information, memories that are important to us. And so just on that, a memory came to me when I was younger, and that my mum used to, she just used to like just stroke the inside of my wrist. And I used to lay my head on a belly, and the belly was really soft, and I absolutely loved it. You see, my mom, she hated a belly, and she was always on a diet, because society tells us as women that a soft belly is fat, right? But we're supposed to have that soft, nurturing belly. It's our womb, it's the womb of creation, and it's absolutely amazing and sacred, but we're programmed to hate it, right? So my mum hated it. Me as a child, I loved it, and I put my head on her belly and it sunk into it, and it was so soft and warm and squishy. And then she would just gently stroke the inside of my wrist, and I felt so safe. And I remembered this memory, how in doing that, and I used to thrust so I'm like Vladimir here, I used to be like, do it again, do it again, do it again. Because it felt so wonderful. I felt my whole body sink into this, like sinking into the womb, I guess, the womb of Mother God. So I really resonate with this. And we can see how there is things that it might be bringing back a memory for you when you were a child. There might have been something that you did, or that your mum did, or someone did, that also allowed you to move, even if it was just for a moment or two, into that true feeling of nurturing, that true feeling of what really Mother, Father, God wants for us, what nature wants for us, what our higher selves want for us. They want us to feel that level of joy, love, peace, harmony, not just fleetingly, but all of the time. And once again, Anastasia brought back that sensation. So even just a little bit more, I pleaded. And once again, Anastasia brought back that sensation of happiness just for a short time, and then everything faded, but not without leaving me with a small taste of the pleasant and radiant sensation as a memory of it. What remained silent for a while, we remained silent for a while, and then I felt like hearing Anastasia's voice again. And I asked, was it this good for the first people, Adam and Eve? Guys, those are not the first people. FYI, spoiler alert. You just lie around, enjoy life and prosper, everything at hand. Only it can become boring if there's nothing to do. Instead of answering my question, hold on, I'm going to read that again because that felt disjointed. Was it this good for the first people, Adam and Eve? Obviously, he's getting this because we can obviously tell that he's read the Bible, right? So the Bible will tell you Adam and Eve are the first people, the first humans. Was it this good for the first people, Adam and Eve? You just lie around, enjoy life and prosper. So he's thinking of him in the Garden of Eden here, okay? Everything at hand. Only it can become boring if there's nothing to do. Instead of answering my question, Anastasia asked one of her own. Tell me, Vladimir, do many people think of Adam, the first man, as you thought just now? Probably the majority, but what was there for them to do in paradise? It was only later that man started to develop and invent things. Man developed through labour. He became smarter thanks to labour, right? This is a crazy inverted programming that we've been through to believe that. Yes, labour is needful, but the first man was indefinitely smarter, right? Yes, than his descendants today, right? Because we've been dumbed down, our DNA is being switched off, and we're going through a process of reactivating that DNA. And it's interesting that 1414, when I said to you when I was reading this, I looked at the clock and it was 1414, because 1414 actually represents the atoms and the DNA, the upgrade that we are moving into, which is the organic structure of DNA. So that's no coincidence. But what did Adam do in paradise? Did he tend a garden? That was something that can be done today by any gardener, not to mention plant breeding specialists. Nothing more is said in the Bible about Adam's activity. If the Bible told everything in detail, it would be impossible to read through it in a single human lifetime. One must understand the Bible. There is so much information behind each verse. Do you want to know what Adam did? I shall tell you, but first remember that it is the Bible that tells us that God assigned Adam the task of giving names and specifying the purpose of every living creature on earth. And he, Adam, did this. He did what all the scientific institutions in the world, taken together, have not yet been able to do. Anastasia, do you turn to God yourself? Do you ask him for anything for yourself? What more can I ask when so much has already been given to me? It is my task to thank him and help him. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm doing them quite short at the moment. For varying reasons that I won't bore you with, but hopefully you enjoyed that. I think even though it was short and sweet, there were some important messages in there for us to receive today, and I will see you on the next one.